Well, thank you everyone for taking the time to be here. Good afternoon. Welcome to GRCC's beautiful Lakeshore campus. My name is Cameron Buck. I have the pleasure of serving as the dean here at the Lakeshore campus. And it's a true honor to welcome you here today as we introduce GRCC's 12th president, Dr. Kathryn Rogalski, to the West Michigan community. I'd like to take a few moments just to recognize a few special guests we have with us today. If we have any former or current GRCC Board of Trustees and Foundation Board of Directors, please stand or wave to be recognized. Salvador is waving. Yes, all right. Thank you, Salvador. We appreciate your vision and dedication, which keeps our institution moving forward. Thank you. Would also like to recognize any other elected officials in the room. I know I've seen some folks from the township, from the county. We have a lot of school board members here. Would you also please stand or wave to be recognized? Again, we thank you for your service. We thank you for what you do for our community. To welcome President Rogalski on behalf of the broader Lakeshore community, I am pleased to introduce Jody Ozarski. Jody is the president and CEO of the Michigan West Coast Chamber of Commerce, which, if you haven't already heard, was recently named the 2025 Chamber of the Year by the Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives. Just wanted to thank Jody and her team for representing this region so well.
Cameron, thank you so much. This is truly an honor and a privilege to be able to be here today. Good afternoon, everybody. What a great day for our community. It's truly an honor to be here on behalf of the West Coast Chamber as we welcome Dr. Rogalski to this new chapter at Grand Rapids Community College. I come from a staff of all women, and I love that we have the first full-time female president for GRCC. That's a great thing. You know, I've had the opportunity to meet Dr. Rogalski a couple of times already, and I can honestly say that I could not be more excited about the alignment between her experience, her priorities, and the work that we're focused on the Chamber and across West Michigan. From workforce development and talent strategy to community partnerships and accessibility, it's incredibly clear that she understands the important role education plays in shaping the future of a region. And I absolutely believe she is the right leader at the right time for this moment. There's a tremendous opportunity ahead of us as we create meaningful impact together here in West Michigan, and I'm energized about what this partnership can become. At the Chamber, we often talk about being a catalyst, a convener, and a champion for a thriving community. And the truth is, we can only live that out when we have strong partners at the table. Because when we talk about building a strong economy, we're not just talking about business growth. We're talking about people. We're talking about opportunity. We're talking about creating pathways that allow individuals to see what's possible for their future and then actually get there. That's where the alignment between the Chamber and GRCC is so clear. We are both deeply focused on talent. We're both committed to creating opportunities that are accessible and relevant and connected to real-world needs. And we both believe that when individuals thrive, our entire community thrives alongside them. The presence of GRCC Lakeshore campus right here in Holland matters because access matters. For too many people, education can feel just out of reach, whether that's because of cost or transportation, time, or simply not knowing where to start. But when you bring education into the community, when it's visible, when it's approachable, and when it feels like it belongs to you, it changes everything. It removes barriers, it builds confidence, and it opens doors that might have otherwise stayed closed. That's what this campus represents, not just a building, but a bridge between possibility and potential. At the Chamber, we've been leaning deeply into talent development. Our Career Center connecting students, educators, and employers in ways that help young people discover their strengths and explore pathways that they may not have otherwise even considered. We often say you can't be what you can't see, and GRCC helps make those possibilities visible. Whether it's a student exploring a skilled trade, pursuing healthcare, advancing in manufacturing, or continuing on to a 4-year degree, GRCC is meeting people where they are and helping them to take that next step. And for our employers, that work is critical because businesses across our region are navigating real workforce challenges. They're looking for talent, they're looking for skills, and they're looking for people who are ready to contribute and grow. And the only way that we solve that is together through partnerships, through listening, and through aligning education with the needs of today's economy and tomorrow's opportunities. You know, Dr. Rogalski, one of the things that really stood out to me when we've had a chance to chat was your focus on listening for those first 60 days. I truly believe that is such a critical approach because the strongest solutions don't come from one organization working alone. They come from communities working together. And I can tell you this, you're stepping into a community that's ready to partner, ready to collaborate, and ready to think creatively and boldly about what's next. At the Chamber, we talk about turning ripples of influence into tidal waves of positive impact. And that kind of impact only happens when we align around a shared vision. A vision where education is accessible, where talent is developed intentionally, and where business and educators are working hand in hand. And where every individual, regardless of their starting point, has a clear pathway to a bright future. GRCC is a critical part of that vision. So today is about celebration. It's about welcoming new leadership, and it's about recognizing the incredible opportunity in front of us. Dr. Rogalski, we're excited that you're here and for everything that sits ahead of us. We're grateful for your leadership, and we're looking forward to partnering with you to continue building a community where people and possibilities can truly thrive. Welcome to the Lakeshore. We are so glad that you're here. And with that, it is my pleasure to welcome to the stage the chairperson of the GRCC Board of Trustees, Salvador Lopez.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon. I'll say that again. Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be out here on the Lakeshore. I have a little bit of a history with the Lakeshore. I know some really good people out here. Some folks that are on the Holland Public School Board, on the West Ottawa Board. And I go way back to my days where I used to present with La UP, actually, who's also represented here, in front of youth to help them and inspire them to go to college and seek a career out. And I have so many ties out here that I just first wanted to say that. And I also wanted to share a little bit of something that I recently shared in Grand Rapids is that a previous board chair, David Cucci, hopefully some of you know him, once said that there is perhaps not one more important or more meaningful responsibility that the Board of Trustees holds than selecting the GRCC president. And we take that responsibility incredibly seriously. And in May of 2025, we started this process. But before that, we took some time to talk to different faculty and staff all across the campuses. And we took the time to listen and say, okay, what are you looking for in the leader? How do we support who you want to be the next leader of these campuses to be? And I'm incredibly proud to stand in front of you today and say that we listened. That we listened, and I think we can say that very clearly and very confidently because we found the leader that we were looking for. Now, finding that leader wasn't easy. We hired a national firm to help us search all across the country. And out of that came out nearly 80 applicants that we had to sift through. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but swifting through 80 applications of people in academia is no easy task. I mean, they submit, and when they submit a significant amount of documents, and I can tell you that we, as a committee, went through each and every one of those documents to narrow that 80 application pool, or nearly 80, to 12. And from those 12, we were able to interview 3 candidates in person. Now, shout out to Cam, too, who's out here. And I think a lot of you know Cam as a leader out here on the Lakeshore, who represented the Lakeshore campus well. And one of the biggest things that I remember from Dr. Rogalski when we interviewed her on our campus was that she asked about the Lakeshore campus. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And in fact, if I remember correctly, you left the campus hoping to make it out here so that you can see the community here on the Lakeshore. And that, to me, spoke very highly of your character and what you bring to our campus. So here's where I went completely off script on all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick to the script because you certainly don't want me to ramble on and on. Dr. Kathryn Rogalski consistently demonstrated that her values, her experience, and her leadership are exactly what GRCC needs to move forward. She brings more than 25 years of experience serving learners at comprehensive community and technical colleges. She has held senior leadership roles in academic affairs and workforce development, taught psychology at multiple institutions, and perhaps most importantly, she has shown time and time again that she cares deeply about every single student, regardless of their background, regardless of their experience, whether they're coming through from a high school or coming through after finishing a career, whether it be a certificate or a transfer, or a student that's looking to transfer out. That became very evident to us. In the months since the board's decision, I have had the opportunity to get to know Dr. Rogalski on a personal level, and I've come to appreciate her presence, her character, the way she shows up for people, the way that she listens, and most importantly, the way she carries herself. Every time that she talks to folks, and I've been observing this in a not so weird way, she really listens. She really cares. And to be the chairperson of the board, it makes me feel incredibly confident that not only did we find the leader that we were looking for, but we actually overachieved in doing so. So, with that being said, it is my honor and my privilege to introduce to you the 12th president of Grand Rapids Community College, Dr. Kathryn Rogalski.
Goodness, it's like a flashback. Where did I put my remarks? There they are. I have a story about that, but I won't share that tonight. Thank you all for being here tonight. I am extremely honored. I am so grateful for the kind words. The process that brought me here and the work that Chair Lopez talked about from the board and from the college and everything leading up to the point of me being here has reaffirmed that I also made the right decision in coming here and that this is exactly where I need to be. I have been overwhelmed to the point of, how could this be a reality? Communities who have welcomed me, who have shared so much of themselves with me, and I'm just deeply grateful. Even here in just an hour, I have met so many of you who have not only welcomed me, shared your stories, but also shared your mission and your why of why GRCC is important to you, why the Lakeshore campus is important to you, is important to your constituents and your students, and what it means to have a community college that is focused on the communities that we serve. So thank you all for being here. I want to start by telling you a little bit about who I am. I think that's always important beyond the resume. And I will talk a little bit about my resume as well, because that's important. You want somebody who's qualified. But beyond what I've done in my professional life, I came to college as a first-generation college student. I have a wonderful, loving family who always told me that I would go to college. There was no question that I would go to college. And my father didn't get to finish high school. My mom finished high school, but didn't go on to college. But for them, it was really critical that I went on to get my degree. And I did go away to a university, and then I took a pause and I came home. And when I came home, my then boyfriend and now husband had our daughter together. And it was at that time I had stopped out of school. We were kind of hanging out. And then life got real. And I thought, I need to make a decision on what I do next. And I knew that in order for me to be who I needed to be as a mother, as a wife, as a person, I needed to go back to school and get my education. And so fortunately, I was able to do that and finish my bachelor's degree. Then I had a faculty member who said, hey, bachelor's degree is great, but you're in psychology. You need a master's degree. You're not going to be able to do anything with a bachelor's degree. I was like, oh, okay. So it took me a year to realize I needed to go back and get my master's degree. And after my master's degree is when I started in community colleges. And I found my passion there. I found my passion because what I saw was that we were serving students like me. We were breaking down barriers, we were opening doors, and we were creating access to a different kind of life than I would have had if I didn't have an education. And it's my commitment as the college president to ensure that we are breaking down barriers and we are making sure that everyone, no matter what they're coming to us with, what they've had in the past, what their goals are, we want to show them that education is possible, that transforming their life is possible through education, and that we are here to make sure that they not only reach their goals, but we help them to create new goals that they might not even see yet. When I talk about my professional background and how I do feel that right now, I love when you said that we're ready, the community's ready. I have faculty that are telling me we are ready. This is a theme that's coming together for me because I think that our college is ready for where we're headed next. And what we need to do is we need to focus on how are we making sure that not only are students coming to us, but that we're seeing students graduate and get jobs that have living wages, that have pathways, and we talk a lot about pathways and partnerships to universities to get bachelor's degrees. And then not only are they doing that, but they're getting good jobs in their fields with good wages that can sustain their families. That's our responsibility. And in my background, my most recent position was in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where I worked as the Vice President of Academic Affairs and Workforce Development. And what we talked about was that whether you're a workforce student or a transfer student, it's all about the workforce. So how do we help people see themselves after education? Because we need to create that economic mobility, and we need to create the community vibrancy that we know happens when our communities are educated. I can go on and on about that because it's a huge passion of mine, but I will say to you, today, walking through a campus, I had an hour free. I normally don't have an hour free. And so instead of going back to my office, which is, I'm not saying it's what I should have done, but I have a lot of emails to respond to, so sorry for anybody who's waiting on me. But what I did instead was I walked around to the different centers in the various parts of our campus in Grand Rapids, and I talked to employees and I talked to students, and I was walking from one building to the next through the parking lot, and I had a student who stopped me, and I could see she was looking at me, and she said, "Are you the president?" And I said, "Yeah, I am the president." She said, "I thought so." And what I love about that is that when you walked in, you saw my picture and the welcome, and that was my picture has been plastered all over every campus. At first, I was embarrassed. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. But what it's done is it's made me accessible, and to even students who can recognize me. And she stopped me and she said, I am so outside of my comfort zone doing this right now, but I am so happy that you're here. She said, I originally came here 10 years ago to do EMT, emergency medical technician. And she said, and then I stopped, I had my son, it's been about 10 years, and I was gonna come back as a paralegal, but I found my way as a nursing student. And I'm almost finished with my degree to be a nursing student. I'm going to create a wonderful life for my child. She already knows that. And then she was headed over to do some peer education and work with other students. And while she was really nervous approaching me, it was wonderful to see her go outside of her comfort zone and tell me that story, because it reaffirms for me the work that we're doing, the importance that we have, and the accessibility we create for students who might not ever be able to come back, depending on what their circumstances are. I should tell you that I have lots of ideas. It's been a wonderful gift that the Board of Trustees asked me during my first 60 days to stay focused internally, to listen and learn from the teams at the institution, the faculty, the staff, and learn as much as you can before you go out externally. And so now they've set me loose into the community. I'm ready also to listen and to partner with all of you to understand your communities and what you need from GRCC. And that's really what I ask, is that we partner. You help me to understand. I have had a rapid onboarding and immense learning in the first 2 months, and I plan to continue that with my work externally and with all of you as our partners and what we can do here at the Lakeshore. I'm really proud of this building and what it means to this community. I know that we've been here for many, many years, serving in many ways and making it work. But having this campus allows us to do it more efficiently, to serve more students. And at a recent meeting here, Cameron told me that we were actually up 54% in our enrollments since this building came to its place. And all of the staff are happy and they want to grow and serve. So I want you to know that I'm committed to this community and to this college, and I'm thrilled to be here. And I thank you all for taking the time tonight to be here with me and to celebrate GRCC. Thank you.